Hi everyone and welcome to another weekly update. Now before we get into it, please let me apologize for missing last week's upload. If you've seen my weekly update before that and if you've seen my community tab post, you know that last weekend I was in Paris. I had a lovely time, it was really a great trip, but because of that I couldn't really film in the weekend, and then I was planning to film my weekly update on Monday or Tuesday, but going back to work it was quite hectic and chaotic and a lot of things were being asked, so I didn't really have time to film. However, that being said, that does mean that we have quite a bit of things to get through today. And before we get into those things, please let me know in the comments down below how your last couple of weeks have been. If you've read a couple of great books, if you've watched some great series or movies, and just in general how life has been treating you, let me know in the comments down below because I really love to learn more and just interact with you in those comments. Now, for me, my week has been great. As you can see, the weather is lovely. I have my hammock right there and I am going to read a little bit when I'm done filming this video, so I'm really looking forward to that. Now, last week I did purchase quite a bit of books online, and I'm not going to show all of them to you because I do plan to film a full-on book haul, but I do have a sneak peek here. And actually I had these books on my shopping cart for a long time, and then the week before I went to Paris, I got my holiday bonus money. And I actually immediately wanted to buy these books, but then I thought, well, I'm going to Paris, who knows, maybe I will find something there, and then it's a little bit of a shame that I just splurged on books. So I decided to wait, and in the end I didn't really buy anything in Paris except for some bandages for my feet because my feet look horrible after walking so much, but that did mean that I could buy some books. Like I said, I'm not going to show all of them, but I just want to have a small sneak peek, and the first one is Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. So of course this is to prepare myself for the TV show that's going to be aired, I think, in August. So this will be on my TBR either for June, July or the beginning of August. And if you are interested in this and you also want to read this one in preparation for the TV show, please let me know because I think that this will be a very interesting one to discuss with other Song of Ice and Fire fans. So if you want to buddy read this one, let me know and we can make that work. And then another book, this was actually pre-order that arrived, but that is separate from that big book buying thing that I had, and that is Kai by Vashnavi Patel. This is of course an Indian myth-retelling. I'm reading this one right now. I'm actually almost done with it, and I will be finishing this one in my hammock. Very happy about that. And this one I'm really enjoying. I actually talked a little bit more in depth about this one in my last video that I will talk more about in a moment, but yes, this was a very anticipated release and I'm happy that it lives up to its expectations. Then of course, because I didn't talk about what I have finished reading last weekend, I do have quite a bit of books to talk about. The first book that I finished was The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is a new release and I actually talk about this in my last new releases video. I really enjoyed this one. I'm very excited to read the second book and I do hope that we will see that sequel arriving soon in bookstores because I want to see how this story progresses. Definitely one that I would recommend to the right crowd. And then another book that I finished, this was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now this one I listened to an audiobook, and if you don't know, last year I read Circe. I really enjoyed Circe. I love the beautiful writing style, but in the end it wasn't an all-time favorite. I know that a lot of people praise that one very highly, think that it's one of the best books ever written. I don't agree with that, but I do think that it's a fine and very enjoyable book that explores some very interesting themes. This one is completely different. It feels very different from Circe, but it's still beautifully written. And in the end, I thought that I was going to like this one actually more, but I didn't. And especially because the main character wasn't that interesting to me. But I think that this had a very strong beginning and a very strong ending. And for that, I can still appreciate it for what it was. And I still quite enjoyed it. It's just not a favorite. And I was expecting to like it more than Circe. So then liking it less is always a little bit underwhelming. Now, so I'm currently reading Kai, but I'm almost done with that. And because of that, I also started another physical read yesterday because this was part of my book club's monthly read. And I will link the Discord down below if you want to join once a month. We read a book together. We had 24-hour reading sprints yesterday that I will also link if you want to read together with some other people. And that is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andra Stewart. Now, I'm not that far in because I am prioritizing Circe at the moment. I'm only 5 chapters in, but I'm really enjoying this one. I wasn't expecting that actually. I had it on my shelves, but after hearing a lot of people talk about this, I thought, maybe it's not going to be for me. But judging on those first 5 chapters, if it's continuing that road throughout the entire book, this might become a 5-star read. So yes, I'm very happy that I finally picked this one up, and this is why book clubs and buddy reads are so fun, because sometimes you have a book on your shelves and you're not really planning to read them anytime soon, but then when it happens and it becomes a surprise and you're actually really in love with that book, that's such a fun feeling. So I do hope that this one continues to be as good as the first 5 chapters, but so far I'm enjoying it, and it reads extremely fast and very fluently, so I do expect this one to be finished actually in the first half of next week. Then I'm also listening to an audiobook, and I'm actually almost done with this one as well. I think that I will finish that one tomorrow because I think that I have 2 hours left on the audiobook, so definitely not that much. And that is King of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This is the second book in the Broken Empire trilogy. Now, last month I read Prince of Thorns, and if you've seen my update or my wrap-up video, you know that I wasn't really in love with that. It was a fine book, it was middle of the road. The author made some choices that aren't right or wrong, but just didn't really vibe with me. For instance, it's very fast-paced, and I felt like it was a quite superficial read as well, where we don't really dive into the plot, we don't really delve into the characters, especially the secondary characters. We don't really know a lot about them. So all of that made me not really like that book that much, even though it had some very interesting ideas. Now, this one continues down that road, of course. This is a very conscious decision that the author made to write the book that way. However, I do think that I'm liking this one a lot more because there is some more plot to it. I think that we get to know our secondary character a little bit more, at least some of them, and also York. We get to know more of him, and we are exploring more of his family ties, which I find very interesting always. So I'm enjoying it more, but just because of what this series is, I don't think that this will become a favorite series, but will remain a little bit middle of the road. Now, since I'm finishing that one tomorrow, of course I need to pick up a new audiobook, and I have chosen Scorpio by G.R. McAllister. This is a new release. It's the first one in 5 Queendoms series, and I think that there's going to be a lot of political intrigue, so I'm quite excited for that. And I do think that I will be able to finish this one by the end of May. Not by the end of next week, but by the end of May, I should be able to finish this one. And then, this is, I hope that I will be able to pick it up, and at the very least I think that I will be able to start it, but I don't think that I will be able to finish this one, and that is Kushiel's Chosen by Jacqueline Carey. So this is the second book in the Phaedra trilogy. Kushiel's Dart is one of my all-time favorite books. I was blown away when I picked that one up a couple of months ago, and I have heard that that's actually the weakest one of the trilogy, so I have very high expectations for this one. And since I do plan to finish The Bone Shard Daughter in a couple of days, I think that I will be able to start this one either on Wednesday or Thursday. Now, it's a pretty thick book. It's 700 pages. This is mass market. It's an absolutely tiny font, so I do think that it reads actually longer than what 700 pages should feel like. So I don't think that I will be able to finish it by the end of May, but I do think that I will be able to make a good chunk of progress by the end of May. I'm very excited to finally continue my journey in that world. Now, since my last weekly update, I have actually uploaded 3 videos. 2 of them were recommendations videos, and then 1 was a rapid review video. The first recommendations video was recommendation of all types of short fantasy books. So I have defined that as everything under 300 pages, and then towards the end of that video I also had some honorary mentions that were a little bit over 300 pages, but read so fast and just had something to them that I still wanted to add them to the list. Then the other recommendations video actually aired yesterday, so maybe you've missed it. I will link all of those videos, of course, in the description box down below. That was a recommendation video for mid-retelling. So, of course, the Song of Achilles and also Kaikei made it on that list, but I also have a couple of other very interesting recommendations. So if you're interested in those types of books, then I definitely recommend you watch that video. And then, like I said, I also had a rapid review video for 3 new releases. So the Justice of Kings made that list, or made that video. And then I also talked about Pandora and A River Enchanted. And I actually quite enjoyed all 3 of them. And in that video, where I talked 3/4 minutes per book, I really tried to let you know my own thoughts, but also who I think would enjoy those types of books. So if you're interested in any of those, I do hope that video helps you decide whether or not to pick it up. Now, by the time that you're watching this, I've also been on José, so Amazing Worlds channel, and this is actually happening today, this discussion, to talk about the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. Now, I absolutely love the entire realm of the Elderlings. I'm currently, I think, 10 books in? No, 12 books in, I think. I'm going to start the 12th book, and so far all of them have been lovely. It's been a while since I read the Farseer trilogy, but I really want to talk and gush about it because I think that everybody who's going to be on that discussion video absolutely loves Robin Hobb. So this will be a lot of fun, especially because it's been a while. I remember some things very vividly and then some things I don't, but I hope that other people will remind me of that, and that in the end I'm just in a Robin Hobb gush state of mind, and I'm actually going to start a new Robin Hobb book at the beginning of May, so I'm really looking forward to all of that. And of course, I will link that video in the description box down below. If you've missed it, you can definitely rewatch that one. Now, for next week, I have 3 videos planned besides the weekly update. I don't know if that's going to work out, but we will see. First of all, of course, I have that book haul. I'm going to film that later today, so I think that you can expect that either on Tuesday or Wednesday. Then I also have my Way of King spoiler-filled vlog. Yes, I know I still haven't edited and uploaded it, but I am currently working on the editing. So that's almost done, and since that doesn't really require any filming, that's something that I can hopefully upload somewhere towards the end of the week. At least if I'm happy with the quality, because with a vlog it's always a little bit of a hit or miss if I'm happy with the end result. If that's not the case, you're never going to see that vlog, I'm sorry, but if I am, you will get to see it hopefully next week. And the last video that I want to upload is a triple review where I talk about all of these standalones in the First Law universe. So Best Served Cold, The Heroes and Red Country. To me they all felt very different, but somehow I will try to talk about all three of them in one go, and hopefully you can then decide which ones you like best, even though you still need to read them in order. But maybe you just finished the First Law trilogy and you're undecided on whether you want to continue, then I do hope that that video will help you decide a little bit more. Now for next week I also have an exciting thing to say, because Friday evening I will be on Steve's channel with another Friday conversation, and I think that Epic over at Epic Tales will at the very least be joining us, so that's something very fun. I'm looking forward to that. Those Friday conversations are always just so much fun, and usually they're at midnight my time, which is a little bit later, so sometimes I'm a little bit tired, but next Thursday and Friday I have a day off, so then I do imagine that I will be quite well rested for that conversation, and I'm just always looking forward to talk to Steve and Epic because they are amazing people, and I will link both of their channels down below if you haven't seen them already, which would definitely surprise me. Now, something not book related, but I still want to mention it because I think that most fantasy fans are quite interested in this movie as well. I recently watched The Northman, which has a quite famous cast, to be honest. I was quite surprised because it feels like an indie movie, but judging by the cast, it's actually not. It makes a lot of decisions that I wouldn't really see happening in a blockbuster movie. Because of that, it's very unpredictable, which I like. It's a Viking movie, if I haven't mentioned that already, and I think that it was amazing, actually. It's very grim, it's very bleak. Please know that going in. It actually watches like a grim, dark book would read, but yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And if you have the chance to go and watch it, and if you don't mind that, yeah, definitely give it a try. And it also feels a little bit fantasy-esque with the Norse gods that definitely play a role here as well. Now, I think that's actually everything that I wanted to discuss. Please let me know in the comments down below what you will be doing next week. If you have any exciting plans, I would love to know about that. If you haven't seen that mid recommendations video, I will link that one right here so you can watch that next if you have time. As always, I hope that you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye!